For joining today's Jira training session. Today, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I have someone on the call that's reached out to me to walk them through how to do certain things that they've been asked to do. So it's going to be a little bit different from the other training videos that I've done. So all I need you guys to do is just follow me. It might be a little bit lengthy because we're going to be going through step-by-step process on how to do certain things. So please follow. If at any point in time there is a process that I've done that's still not clear to you, please remember you can always reach out to me in the comment section and I'll get back to you. But before we start, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with the rest of your friends and colleagues if you haven't already. So Yvette, thank you for reaching out to me. So I would start off with you telling me what your request is, and then we can start the training.
No problem. Hi, Laia. Thanks for your time. So today, a team has asked me to ensure that their bugs in their project has a root cause field, which should be made mandatory at the point of closing the bug. How do I go about this, please?
Okay. So if I understand correctly, we're only applying the new field to just the bug issue type, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so now what you're seeing on your screen now, you're already in the project setting of the project. What you would need to do first is for you to go to your screens. So if you navigate your way through to the screens, if you can see my mouse, it's at the bottom there. Once you click on your screen, so that should open up the configuration to give us an idea. Always remember that the first thing you need to do before making any sort of updates, any sort of change to workflows, to screens, to any configuration, you always need to check to see if you're sharing your screens or your schemas with any other project. The reason being, any single change you make on this would affect every single project using the same schemas with you. Okay, so for the purpose of this, you want to make an update to the bug screen on just one project rather than 39 projects, okay? So what you would need to do, so if you hover over the, can you see where it says the bug schema and it shows that you have 39 projects? So that's how that's how you would know if your project is being shared or not. Once you go into your screen section, you would see if it's shared, and if it's not shared, that will be left blank. So right now, this bug screen is shared with 39 projects. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take a copy of this. We're taking a copy of the bug screen. We don't need to touch any other issue type because we're not going to be making any changes to them. So we are only focusing on just the bug. So you would need to take a copy of the screen. And then you would also need to, you would take a copy of the schema, which is the DPT software development bug screen schema. You need to take a copy of that. If you take a copy of it, or just take a note of what that schema is. And then no, you don't, you need to go to the setting. You can see the cogwheel at the top right. So if you can open that section on a separate tab so that we don't always have to go back, and we have this as a tab on its own. Okay, so when that opens up, you then go to, go to the tab, to the next tab, which is the setting. No, that's not the one I want you to copy. I want you to copy, we'll do that last, but right now we just need to take a copy of the bug. I need you to take a copy of the bug in itself, so which is this one. So that's the screen schema. Okay, so when you go, now go to the screen schema. Can you see? That's it. So once you click on the screen schema, you can paste what information you have in the search box. If you don't have it copied, if you know what it is, you can literally type it in as well. And then that should just help in terms of if you have loads of information in there, you don't want to have to go scrolling back and forth. You might easily just copy paste, or you type it in if you know what it is. So now you've done that. If you click under the action section, if you click on the three dots, you can see there, yes. If you click on that, and then you take a copy of this. Okay, and then you would need to rename it, to rename it to something else so it's different from what it was previously, and just to make sure you've created a different screen. The reason why we're copying an already existing bulk screen is because you want all the fields, all the screens is already defined. So you have your view screen, your edit screen, your already defined. So you're not making any changes to them. All what we're going to be doing is just adding a new field to the screen. So rather than you create the screen all from the scratch, and then you're doing your view screen, your edit screen and stuff, you can just take a copy of what they're already using as of today, and then kind of like reapply it. And then you're trying to separate this one project from the 39 projects so that you can then make the changes to your one project. So now you have copied it, you've renamed it. So what did you call it? And can you find it now in here? The one you've created, yeah? So you called it IAG. Okay, so that's fine. Now you can leave this tab and then go back to the first tab again. So let's go back. So that's the first one. So now, I was talking about the create, the view, and the edit screen. So you can see now we now need to take, fortunately, you do have your create, edit, and view screen are all the same. Literally, you have one that is split into three. We have something called the create screen. So at the point where you're clicking on the create button, you get a pop-up come up, and then you have to fill in some certain details. That's what we call the create screen. The edit screen is when you've actually created the ticket, but you want to make further updates to it. So that's the edit screen. So you would need to click on the edit button, and then it pops up again, and then you can do the further updates that you want to do. And then the view screen is where literally what you're saying, you've created your issue, it then appears to you on like a screen. That's where the view screen is. So you have those three because you can determine what you want in all three. Standard, people usually have the same set of fields for both create, edit, and view. But you can further define and customize this when you're going deep down into automation. You're trying to give people certain privileges. You're trying to do automation to restrict people being able to update certain information. That's when you see a lot of people separating, having a different edit screen, and then doing some configuration to the edit screen to do all that from the back end. But for the purpose of this, you're already set up to have the same. So all we need to do is just copy one of these. So you can take the create, it doesn't matter which one you choose. So just take one of them as a copy, and then we'll go back to, you go back to the second tab, which you've already opened up, which is the setting area. And then this time around, you go into screens. Okay, and now you just paste that in the search button as well. Again, this applies is literally the same thing again. So you now take a copy of this. If you click on the action section, you will see the three dots. Now you need to take a copy of it.
Let me see if I copied the right thing.
Yep. Now take a copy. And then you rename. Okay. So once you've renamed, can you scroll? Yep. Okay, so that's fine. And then once you're done, click on copy. Okay, so now you've got your screens created. What we then need to do now is attach those screens to the new screen schema that you've created previously. So you now need to go back to your screen schema. No. You're still in the right tab. So everything we're doing now is going to be at the setting configuration. So now you go to the screen schema on the left-hand side next to screen. No, screen schema, which is the one above. Yes. And then you type in or search for the one that you renamed. I think it was AIG.
AIG Carta.
Yeah, this one. I think it looks like it's the second one you have on the list. And then if you click on the action section, click on the three dots you can see there, and then click on configure. Now we want to create the screens, which is your create, edit, and view, and then attach it to this. So now what you would need to do is click on edit, where you can see here. Is that the one that's the box screen? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Looks like, yeah, it's okay. Now you need to click on associate issue type. Yeah. And then this is the create one we're doing first. Now you need to look for your, we're using the same one. Unfortunately, this is not in alphabetical order. So you would have to keep scrolling back and forth to find your screen. So click on add, and then you probably do, looks like it's still loading. Now you've done the create. Now you need to do the same again, associate again. And then this is the edit, and then you do the same again. Yep. And then you add, and then you do it one more time to get the view. It looks like it's still loading, so always wait for it to run its course. Otherwise, the more you click on it, the slower it gets. So now you can click on it the third time and then do your view screen. Yep, that's it. And then you click on add. Okay, so now that this is done, you've created your schema. So if you go back to your project, if you go back to the first tab now, so what we've done is we've created the schema, which is the one that shows the shared by 39 project. And then we've also created the screens, which is your create, view, and edit. So what we now need to do is now change the issue type to now specify that these changes we've made, we want to apply it to this issue type. And then that way it kind of like changes what you're seeing on your screen. So now you would need to take a copy of the issue type schema. So which is at the top of your screen, the one at the top. You need to go back up. It says DT software issue types schema at the top of your screen. No, you need, yeah, up. Yeah. Yes, yes, that's what you're taking. So take a copy of that. And then now go back to the second tab. And then now we're going for the issue type screen schema. Okay, and then you're pasting that in there.
This one?
That one, and then you click on copy. And then you rename. Okay, so always remember to always change the naming, because what you don't want to is you're taking a copy and then you're still leaving the names the same, and then you'll see that in the system or in the back end we're having a copy of, a copy of, a copy of, a copy of, and it just makes it a lot more messier. So it's always better to kind of like rename when you're taking a copy, rename so that it's quite clear to others when they're going to the back end, they can see what's going on. They would be able to understand what's going on just by looking at it as well. So now that you've taken a copy, now you look for it, that's fine. And then you go to the three dots now, and then you do configure. So now what we're trying to do is we're trying to attach our, we're not touching any other issue type because we want to keep it the way it is. The only thing we're interested in is just the bug. So for the bug, you click on edit. Click on edit and then look for your schema. Look for your screen schema. So if you just type in, I think it was IAG, I think is the last one. Last one. Is it that one?
ID cover alerts.
Is it that one? Is that the one we've done?
Is that one? Yes.
Yeah,
ID.
okay. Okay, then click on updates. So that should be it done. So now, just to be clear, sometimes if it's, say, for example, you've created a new issue type entirely, you would need to go to associate issue type. And then that way you would need to look for the issue type you're trying to associate with the new, screen schemas that you've created and screens that you've created. But because this is already defined, remember, we're just taking a copy of something that is already existing. If you were doing it from scratch, you would have to make sure that all the other issue type, you've literally done the same thing. You have a screen schema for them. You have and your screens defined as well. Your create, edit, view defined, and then you associate to the schemas, screen schemas first before you can then associate to the issue type you're trying to specify the schema for. So now this is done. What you then need to do now is go back to your project. Okay, and then you now need to go to action at the top of your screen, because now we now want to change. Yeah, now click on user difference. Yeah, and then you look for the new issue type schema that we've created. I'm guessing it will be at the bottom of the screen as well.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, and then you click on associate. Okay, so now, so can you see what has happened? So start from the bottom of your screen. So can you see that the AIG cargo alert issue type schema is not shared with any other project, right? But having said that, because we did not make changes to any other issue type that you had there previously, you can see all these other issue types are still sharing the same configuration with 36 other projects, but your bug that we're trying to apply changes to is not sharing screen with anybody. So you can make changes to this without it affecting the other 39 projects because you're not using the same schema. In some instance, you might have to do the same for all the other ones, depending on what the request is. But because your request is quite specific, you're only interested in making changes to just the bug. So that's why we've gone down this route. So it actually depends on what the request is, and then that would then help you make an informed decision on what you need to do and how you need to apply the changes. Okay, so if you click on the drop down next to the bug so that we can see the screen, just double check to make sure everything is changed in there. So you can see as well that that's also changed to the screen, your create, your bug and everything is all as it should be. So that's your screen schema already changed and sorted. So what you now need to do is click on any one of them because it's all the same. If you make a change to create, the same change applies to edit and view because it's all the same. So click on it now, and then you can then apply the new field, which you want for that, which is, I think you said it was called the root cause. So you click on that and then you scroll down and then look for the root cause. Yeah, literally type it in. Sometimes please be very careful, because sometimes you can see now, this is a very good example. You can see you've got multiple fields that are the same name. You've got root cause migrated to, blah, 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 blah. So you need to be, when you're creating your field, it's always better not to have a field named the same name twice, to avoid confusion, especially when you're going to be using JQL queries, when you're going to the reporting side of things, and you would have to, write a JQL query, and then it confuses you a bit more if you're putting a query to say root cause and 5 different options is coming up for root cause. Then you would need to know, which of the root cause is mine, because it's not going to literally tell you which is yours. You see what I mean? So it's always better, just, Jira hygiene, to not do that. So if you look at the, can you scroll, if you can scroll down and then go to the left side, is that, okay, you've chosen the root cause. Do you know if this is the root cause that you're looking for?
This one.
Okay, that's fine. So now we've applied the root cause. What I would tell you to do, every single change you've made, always test it out. So go back into your screen, into the create, try to create to make sure, no, you're on the right place. You don't need to, just click on the create button. Yeah, and then go into your project, click on bug, change the issue type to bug, and then scroll all the way down to the root cause, just to confirm that, yes, you can see the root cause on your screen. So as you can see, the root cause is not on your screen. Yeah. So what you would need to do is, you can cancel, come out of this. Okay. And then go back to the middle configuration, the issue types command, which is the tab you have in the middle, because that's the setting tab. And then you need to go to custom fields. Yeah, and then you need to search for root cause. So you need to check to make sure if they are setting projects or contexts that have been created for that field. Sometimes fields can be created and is specified only for some certain project. So you would need to go back and check to make sure your project is included to that context, so it becomes available for your team members to use. Okay, so let's see. So we're doing, so it looks like we've chosen the wrong root cause, because I can see this is your project, isn't it? IAG cargo. It looks like it's already, and the project we're looking for is already in here. And this is the field root cause. So it looks like you've selected the wrong root cause, because this is already applied to your project. So you should see the field. So if you put in, type in root cause. And then scroll down if it's not showing. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. Now try to create and test it again to make sure it's now showing, or refresh your screen. And then try to do the create again, and then select the bug, because we're applying to the bug. The only other thing that we did not check as well is to make sure that the issue type we are applying it to, it's already there. So if you go back to the middle one again and try to see if it's applied to all global issues, so it should be available for both, because in there it's been selected for all global. So okay, so let's go back to your screens again. And then is there a way for you to go to your config? Yeah. So click on the dot, show field, find your field. No, you need to click on show. And then type in root cause. It looks like it's the second one we chose the other time. Type it in, and then let's see. So you can see field screen, the root cause field is not included in the bug screen. So you've not included it to the bug screen. So just click on the hyperlink that they're showing to you. Click on it to solve. Go to the top one at the top. Yeah, click on it. So that will open it up, and then you can apply the root cause to there. There's another way for you to find it, and then scroll down. Yeah, probably because you have quite a lot. So now it's causing, okay, go back to the screen, refresh, and try again now. Like you're trying to create a new screen.
Yeah.
Yep, try to find bug. Okay, yep. And then go to click on that, and then show fields. Click on show fields. Make sure it's ticked up. Yeah, that's it. Now click on apply, and then scroll down. Now it should become available. Yeah, and this is the right one you were looking for, isn't it? Okay, so now the screen is sorted. So we've been able to successfully, add the field to your screen. But because you don't want to make that field a required field at the point of closing your bug ticket, we now need to go back to the workflow, and then we'll put a validator in place that then controls that before any bug ticket is closed, it kind of like gives you like an error message if one of the root cause is not being chosen. It then controls the behavior of the team to now, go back and make sure that field is populated before they can then close that bug. So you would need to go back to your workflow. We're done with the screen now. We don't have anything to do with the screen anymore. The only other thing that we probably would need to go back and check will probably be, because you have quite a few fields called root cause. It might be a tricky one for us to be able to know which exact root cause when we're trying to apply as well to the workflow. So you need to go to your workflow. Yes. So now, okay, so this workflow, again, you've got 3 different workflows in the schema. And for your bug is also linked up to other issue type. So we cannot make any changes to this workflow. Reason being, the bug, we only want the root cause on the bug and not on any other issue type. If you apply the changes as it is now, every other issue type using the same workflow with it would have an issue whenever they're trying to close their ticket. So what we're going to have to do first is make sure we take a copy of the screens of the workflow schema and also a copy of the workflow in itself. Okay, and then we can literally do the same thing we've done for the issue type, but this time we're working on the workflow. Okay, so take a copy of it, and then we go back to the setting, which I think is the middle tab. Yeah, and then if you scroll, you're going to workflow schema. Yeah, and then on the search box, you just Control F. Yeah, that's it. And then paste it in there. And then, yep. I don't think it was a copy. Was it copy? Were you sure it was copy?
It was.
It was, okay. Then you click on copy. So now it's going to be a copy of. So it's always better to rename copy 2, copy 3, copy 4. It just gets messy and messy. So now that you've taken a copy, for you to, you can leave that as it is for now. We will get back to that again. What I need you to now do is take a copy of the workflow and not the schema. So you need to go back to the project and take a copy of the workflow. No, the workflow, yes, that's the one. So you take a copy of that, and then go to the workflow section now, not the schema, the workflow. And then we need to take a copy of this. You can put it in the search box. You have a search box, yeah. paste it in there. So this one is software. I think it's the second one, isn't it? Yeah. So you need to take a copy of that. Take a copy. And then rename. Just rename this one. So rather than we leave it as copy of. So you can just remove the copy of. You can leave the software simplified and then just put your IG in front of something or. Okay. And then, yep, you just take a copy. Okay, so you need to remember when you're taking a copy, unlike when we did the screens, when you take a copy, you can literally just go into the search and then it pulls it out for you. With the workflow, quite similar, but once a workflow is created and it's not yet linked to a project, it's called an inactive workflow. So where you're looking at now is an inactive workflow, right? So you need to go back to the we're not making any changes to the workflow, remember? So right now, what we need to do is make sure that this workflow is then linked to that copy of the schema that we did before. So you need to leave this as it is, and then go to your workflow schema. We need to find the workflow schema. For you to find that, once this loads up, remember, if you see the top of your screen, it says active, right? The workflow we copied would not be in the active section. It would always be in the inactive section. So sometimes when you put it in the search, it doesn't bring it out for you because it's searching from an active, place. So you would need to scroll all the way to the bottom and then you will see the section for inactive workflow. So you need to go, yeah. So can you see the section inactive? And then that's where you would find yours. So yours will probably be a copy 4, if I'm not mistaken. So you need to scroll down, keep going down. So I think it probably will be in alphabetical order. So it should be copy 4. If you keep going, copy of copy 3. Yeah, no, we passed it, I think. Copy of copy 3. Is it this one?
Let me just double check.
Yeah, copy of DT. I think it's this one, isn't it?
Yes, it's this one.
Yeah. So now click on edit on this one. Okay. And now change the name first. The name, if you click over it, you will see the pencil, and then you can just edit and just change the name first. So at least we get that one sorted. And then it aligns with every other thing that you're doing as well. Okay, and then you just click on the check pencil. Okay, so now you have your own your own workflow schema, but it's an inactive schema. Okay, what we now want to do is, if you go to, can you see where it says add workflow? Can you see where it says add workflow on your left hand side? You need to move your mouse to the left. Not there, a bit up, a bit up, a bit up. Workflow, yes, that one. Click on add workflow. Add existing, yes. Okay, now you need to look for, the workflow we just created now, which is, I think we call it I. It's in alphabetical order, so it will be at the bottom, or sorry, somewhere in the middle. That should be I. Is it IA or IG or something?
This one.
That one. So click on it. Okay, let it load. Click on next. And now you want to apply to just the bug. So look for the bug issue type. So you're removing it from the previous one and you're adding it to this one. Yeah. Okay. So now click on finish. So now you can see what you've done. Previously you had 3, but now you've created a separate one, removing the bug from the long list of all other issue type attached to one workflow, and you've created your one. The workflow is still going to be the same, but the only difference is on the bug one, we're going to be putting a validator in place so that only the bug is affected and not all the other issue type will be affected. Okay, so now we are done with this. We now need to go back to your project to now make the schema and the workflow active so that we can apply our validators. Okay, so now you go back to the projects. I think the project is the third tab. Yeah, yeah, that one. And then you click on switch schema. Yeah. Okay, and then now here you need to search for, it probably will be at the bottom again. I think it's the last. Oh, no, not the last one. No, that one, I think that's the one. I think it is. Yep. And then you associate. Okay. And then associate. Okay. So what it's doing now is remember when you're dealing with workflows, you have the different issue types. Click on acknowledge. It might not be this straightforward for some other people, just because if you were making changes to the workflow, for example, like you've added like a new status or you've taken away a new transition, it would bring out another screen for you to then do the mapping to say, okay, it was previously this workflow, but now I'm changing it to this workflow. So you now need to do the mapping to tell us everything in the open status should now be closed in this new workflow I'm creating. You would need to do the mapping. But because we're taking a copy of something that already exists and we're keeping it as it is, we're not making any changes. Hence the reason why the mapping was done automatically, because it could find a like-for-like match. If there was no like-for-like mapping, that pop-up will come up for you to do the mapping before you can associate. So now on your screen, you can see you now have 4, you now have your separate bug workflow. Now we can apply the validator by clicking on the edit, the pencil sign. So you can then open just the bug and then we can apply our validators in there. Okay, then you click on, yep, so you need to is on the edit. So we're going to the done transition, isn't it? So you're clicking on the done transition and then you're clicking. Once you click on the transition, you can see the pop-up on the right that pops up, and then you click on validators. Okay, once you click on your validators, you get another screen pop up, and this time you would need to then determine what are you trying to validate. Once you click on add validator, and then you scroll down, it gives you a lot of different options. But what we are looking for is we're trying to make a field a required field. So if you look for the one that says field required validator, and then you have that checked, and then you click on add, and then the next screen will come up with this. And this is where you then specify what field do we want to make a required field for bug. So this is where I was saying we might get a bit confused in terms of identifying which of the root cause we're going to be choosing. So yeah, that's fine. And then you click on add. Okay, so you have your validators already applied to it now. So all you need to do is now click on publish. You're publishing the draft. Click on no and then publish. Okay, so that's it done. So what you would then need to do, you can see now that at the top of your screen, you've got your workflow is now active, and also it's not being shared with any other project. Okay, so what you now need to do is do the same test again. Every single thing you do, always make sure you test it to make sure it's working as it should before you say you're done. So now click on the create button. Let's create a test bug ticket and then see if it works. Okay, and then, put in anything. Okay, and then you scroll all the way. You don't need to put, you don't need to put anything in the root cause. Remember, the validators we are putting in place is at the point of when you're closing the ticket. So you want people to be able to create a ticket, move it to in progress, to any other status without having to select the root cause, right? But only comes into effect when we want to close the ticket, then it becomes mandated that you populate the field. So you can click on create now. Okay, now go back into the issue and now let's test it by moving the ticket from to do to done. So can you see the bottom of your screen? It's failed because, sorry, it stopped you from being able to transition to done because it's telling you the field root cause is required. So that way, if I'm trying to close a ticket without giving you this information, it forces me, because I literally can't do what I want to do. I literally can't close the ticket. So it would force you to go back into the ticket, click on edit, and then provide the information for the root cause. So if you click on, you can see the root cause, click on the none option, you will see your pencil and just choose an option in there. Okay, now you've selected, now you should be able to go to done. And if you click on done, you can see you've transitioned into done. So that's how the validators works. It's just a way to control certain behaviors. It's just a way for you to also control data quality issues. So there might be certain fields that is a must-have for tickets, for maybe bugs, epics, certain information that you want that whenever you're creating or updating or transitioning from one status to another, it's a must-have to have this information. It's always better to mandate or those certain fields so that you control the behavior of the team without you having to always chase, oh yeah, you didn't give me this, or this has not been populated. You're already forcing them in a subtle way to give you that information anyway by using the validators to control it. So does this solve your requests?
It does. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any questions? I know it was quite a lengthy one because we're trying to do, we did quite a few things. So I hope that is clear and you were able to follow the process accordingly as well.
Yes, I was. Thank you. No questions.
Okay, cool. So I like it when there is no question. So thank you. So I think we can end the session for today. So thank you again. And to my viewers, thank you again. And remember, if any of this is still not clear to you, remember the version we're using for Jira is Jira Cloud. So you might not necessarily be seeing exactly what you're seeing on your screen now. The places where how you navigate, how you get to certain things might be slightly different, but the process in itself is completely the same across all Jira instances. So please leave me a message if you do have any further questions. If you're also struggling or trying to do something in your organization and you don't know how to, please remember you can reach out to me by leaving me a comment in the comment section, and I will get back to you. And remember, you have to subscribe so you get a notification when I drop a new video as well. So thank you guys, and see you in my next video.